He married a beggar when he had nothing left. A girl everyone mocked, ignored, stepped over like dirt on the road. They laughed when he put a ring on her finger. They whispered he'd gone mad. That grief had shattered whatever remained of the man who once sat on a throne. Because who marries a girl who slept in alleyways? A girl so fragile even the wind seemed too harsh for her. But the night the hunters came, the night steel rattled against the crooked door of their hut, the night they shouted her name like a curse, was the moment he stopped pretending to be weak. Because the man they thought was broken, the man stripped of his crown and banished into silence, was something far more terrifying than anyone remembered. He wasn't a fallen man. He was the hidden Alpha King. And tonight, the world would remember why it once feared him. Before we continue, tell me this. If you were him, would you reveal your true power to protect a woman the world calls worthless? Comment your answer below. And if intense alpha stories keep you hooked, hit subscribe so you never miss the next chapter. Now, let's continue. This is the story of a king who lost everything, and the beggar girl no one believed deserved saving. A story of kingdoms reduced to embers, of bloodlines hunted through the dark, and of vows whispered in the ruins of fallen thrones. A story stitched with secrets powerful enough to ruin empires, and a destiny older than the moon itself. Because she wasn't just a beggar rescued out of pity. She was the last surviving daughter of a slaughtered house, a girl spared by chance and hunted by design. And he wasn't the quiet wanderer with hollow eyes she thought he was. He was a legend forced into exile, a storm wrapped in ragged cloth, waiting for fate to give him one reason, one spark, to rise again. Her name was Leora Vale, the girl everyone overlooked, the girl fate placed in the path of a king who had already buried his past, until the night everything changed. Now, let the story begin. The wind pressed against the crooked door of their hut, slipping through every crack like a restless spirit. Inside, the world was small. A straw mat, a chipped table, 2 bowls drying on a shelf, and Leora, curled on the floor beneath a thin blanket, breathing softly, as if the night had finally decided to be kind. He watched her sleep for a moment. Leora always held herself tight in sleep, arms folded in, knees pulled in, like someone who expected the world to yank her away at any second. Even here, even with him, she slept like someone bracing for loss. He hated that. He hated the fear that lived under her skin. He turned back to the door. Something was wrong. At first, it was just a feeling, a shift in the air and a subtle tightening in his bones. Then, he heard it. A branch didn't just snap outside. It broke, clean, deliberate. Not the stumble of a drunk villager, not a starving child scavenging wood. This was different. This was intent. A hunter's step. His muscles tightened. His hand drifted to the latch, not opening it, just feeling the tremor in the wood. Someone was outside, or several someones. Behind him, Leora stirred. "Is something out there?" she murmured, half asleep, voice soft with the kind of gentleness the world had punished her for. He kept his eyes on the door. "Yes," he said quietly. "Stay inside." The word yes sobered her instantly. She pushed herself up, elbows trembling. Is it wolves? Another patrol? You said patrols don't come out this far. They don't, he said. His jaw clenched. That's what worries me. Then the scent hit him. Metal. Wet soil. Old blood soaked deep into leather. His breath caught. No, not again. A shadow slipped past the window. Another followed. Leora's breath hitched. Did you see? A voice outside cut her off. This is the place. The girl's inside. Don't spook her. If she runs again, the captain will have our heads. Leora froze. He tightened his grip on the latch until the wood groaned. He'd been careful. A new name. A new village. No one from his past. No slip of power. So how? Leora whispered. Who are they talking about? He turned toward her, eyes sharp in the dim light. You, he said. Her face drained of color. A fist slammed against the door. The whole hut shook. Open up, someone barked. We know the girl is in there. Leora stumbled back, hitting the table with her heel. I don't understand, she whispered. I haven't done anything. I don't even... He lifted a hand, silencing her without looking away from the door. He heard them now. 6 heartbeats. Maybe 7. One heavier. The leader. The others. Restless. Hungry. His old instincts rose like a beast stretching awake. Leora, he said, softly. Go to the back. Under the table. Stay there. No matter what you hear, Sin, you're scaring me, she whispered. Good, he said. Fear listens. Another blow. This one splintering the wood. We won't ask again, the leader shouted. Hand over the girl and we might leave you in one piece. Leora flinched. He stepped forward, placing himself fully between her and the door. One breath. Another. The old power stirred under his skin. A sleeping wolf turning toward blood. Leora, he said one last time, hide. Whatever she saw in his eyes finally convinced her. She dropped to her knees and scrambled beneath the table, clutching its wooden leg like a lifeline. The door shattered. Cold air rushed in with torchlight and steel. 4 men filled the doorway. 2 more behind them. Leora covered her mouth to keep from screaming. Boots stomped on dirt. Blades gleamed. Torches spat sparks. The leader surveyed the hut with a crooked smile. So this is where the little stray ended up. He turned to the man standing too calmly by the broken door. And you, step aside, old man. We're only here for the girl. Old man. If only they knew. He said nothing. The hunter's smile twitched. I said, step aside. He stepped further into the light, and now Kaelin saw it clearly. Their insignia. No kingdom mark. Mercenary scum. But across the leader's chest, a token hung from his strap. A wolf sigil. Split clean down the middle. Leora's breath caught. Her father's voice whispered through memory. Never touch that symbol, Leora. If it's ever broken, we run. Her heart pounded. That belonged to my father, she whispered under the table. The leader looked down, then smirked. So the little beggar remembers. Her stomach dropped. Kaelin felt her bier. It hit him like heat. You came a long way. he said quietly. Just to die at my door, girl. The leader laughed. The men behind him chuckled a turn. One spat on the floor. You? He scoffed. Kill us? You're nothing, Xia. A nobody hiding in the woods with gutter trash. He flicked his hand. Take the girl! 2 men lunged, and then they weren't standing anymore. One slammed against the wall. The other flew through the doorframe, landing twisted in the dirt outside. Leora gasped, hand over her mouth. They hadn't seen him move. No one had. And he hadn't even shifted yet. Steel rang out. Who are you? One hunter whispered. Kalen finally smiled. And it wasn't kind. Someone you should have left buried. They charged. Chaos exploded through the hut. Steel, dust, snarls, splintered wood. Leora flinched at every crack, every thud, every scream. Boots crashed inches from her hiding place. A body hit the floor beside her hand. Blood pooled toward her fingers. She shook uncontrollably. Then, silence. Kalen stood among the fallen men, breath steady, power simmering just beneath his skin. But he didn't relax, because outside, he heard another step. Something heavier, calmer, deadlier. He stepped out of the hut. Leora crawled out, trembling, gripping the doorway for balance. You did this, she breathed. But he wasn't looking at her. He was staring at a blade lodged in the hut wall, with a small pouch tied to it. A wax seal dangled from the strings. His crest. The crest of the throne he'd lost. Leora looked between him and the symbol, voice barely audible. Who sent them? His voice dropped to a cold whisper. We've been betrayed. By who? He didn't answer. He already knew. The only person who still used his crest was the man the world believed was king now. His brother. The forest held its breath. Torches hissed low, throwing jagged shadows across the clearing. Smoke curled upward, heavy with blood. Leora stepped out of the ruined doorway, hugging herself, trembling from more than cold. Tell me what's happening, she whispered. Please. He didn't answer at first, because the truth would shatter her. You weren't supposed to be found, he said quietly. I picked this village because no one comes here. No patrols. No traders. Just ghosts. And men who want to disappear. Her voice wavered. Like you. He almost smiled. Yes, like me. So how did they find us? He didn't speak, because the answer stepped out of the trees. Pause. Reveal beat. A mutt emerged wearing silver-laced armor, eyes burning molten gold, but calm, controlled, confident in a way that made the air tighten. He moved like smoke. No wasted steps. No fear. Power sat on his shoulders like a second cloak. He clapped slowly. Well done, brother. Leora's breath stopped. But, brother, she whispered. You have a brother? The word hit Kalen like an old wound reopening. Alistair smiled, though nothing warm touched his eyes. You didn't tell her? How rude. You married her and didn't even give her your true name. Leora's heart pounded. True name? Kalen finally turned toward her and braced himself for the moment the truth would hurt her. My name, he said quietly, was once Caelan Thorn. The name hit the clearing like thunder. Leora's eyes widened. That's the name of the king who died when the Northern Kingdom fell. Alistair's smirk deepened. Oh, he died that night, he said softly. Just not the way the stories tell it. Leora stared at the man she'd shared a mat with. The man who patched roofs and carried water. You're the Alpha King, she breathed. The real one. He nodded once. I was, he said. A long time ago. 1,000 questions rose in her eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Why are you here? Why did you marry me? But fear pushed one question forward. If you're the real king, then who is he? She pointed at Alistair. Alistair bowed mockingly. The saviour, he said. The one who rebuilt what dear Caelan ruined by loving too softly. The king the people chose when the old one burned his kingdom. That's not what happened, Caelan growled. No, Alistair just said. It's what they needed to believe. His eyes slid to Leora. And you, little stray. You are the last thread connecting him to a truth I worked very hard to bury. Leora's heart tightened. The truth about what? Instead of answering, Alistair pulled a scroll from his cloak, sealed with wax. Her stomach dropped. Because the sigil pressed into the wax was one she had only seen in broken dreams. A wolf encircled by 3 crescent moons. Her family's crest, her father's crest, her past, her nightmare, her house. Leora's knees weakened. How do you have that? That crest belongs to... Belonged. Alistair corrected. Your house doesn't exist anymore. You're an error, a leftover. He broke the seal. Strange symbols glowed faintly across the parchment, not written, but burned into the fibres. Leora trembled. What is that? What does it say? Alistair watched her with cold amusement. You don't remember, do you? He tapped his temple. Trauma is a useful cage. Memory shards stabbed through her mind. Her father shouting, her mother crying, the heat of fire against her back. Her breath shook. I don't... understand. Caelan stepped between her and the scroll. Whatever that is, he said tightly. It's twisted. He twists everything. Alistair ignored him and read aloud. In exchange for protection from the Northern Throne, the House of Vale binds its bloodline to the crown. Should the bowl line break or flee, its heir shall be hunted and extinguished, lest the cursed child bring ruin to the kingdom. The words slammed into her. No, Leora whispered. My father would never agree to that. Wouldn't he? Alistair asked softly. He wanted power, respect. The kind only kings wield. You were the price. Leora staggered back, knees hitting the dirt. Caelan caught her instantly. Don't listen to him, he said urgently. He murdered our father. He stole the throne. He's twisted the truth ever since. Alistair's smile sharpened. You still can't say it, can you? He hissed. You can't tell her what her father did. Leora looked between them, tears streaming. What happened? She begged. What happened to your kingdom, my family? Why does everyone talk in riddles? Caelan swallowed. Because the whole story, his voice cracked, would break you. Alistair snapped his fingers. The shadows behind him quivered. Something crawled out. A wolf, but corrupted. Wrong. Skin burned. Fur missing in patches. Eyes glowing sickly greens. A creature twisted by dark power. Lyora staggered back. What is that? Alistair smiled cruelly. That is what remains of the alpha wolves who refused my throne, the ones your father cursed when he chased power he could not control. Lyora shook her head violently. My father wasn't a monster. Monsters have children too, Alistair whispered. The beast growled. Low, starving. Lyora flinched. Kaelin stepped between them again. Enough, he warned. You want me? Leave her. Oh no, Alistair said softly. She is the prophecy. Lyora froze. The prophecy? She whispered. Oh yes. He lifted a hand. The cursed heir who will shake the north and drown the wolves in starfire. You, little beggar, are the storm the kingdom fears. Lyora's blood went cold. She never asked for this. Never wanted power, never wanted destiny. But destiny had found her anyway. Alistair pointed at the beast. Kill her! The corrupted wolf lunged. Time froze. Lyora couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Death rushed toward her. But Kaelin crashed into her, dragging her aside. They hit the dirt hard. The beast spun and leapt against. Kaelin shoved Lyora behind him and shifted mid-motion. Bones crackling, muscles swelling, eyes burning gold. Lyora gasped. The quiet man who cooked soup and patched roofs became the legend the world believed dead. The Northern Alpha King. He slammed into the beast. Claws tore, teeth snapped, trees shattered. Lyora staggered after them, hands shaking. Every time the beast raked Kaelin's side, she flinched. Blood sprayed across leaves. Please stop, she sobbed. But the world had stopped listening. Alistair watched with cold delight. You chose well, brother, he mused. She cries beautifully. The beast pinned Kaelin, jaws crushing down on his shoulder. He roared. His legs buckled. Lyora screamed, Kaelin! The beast turned toward her, eyes glowing. Darkness dripping from its jaws. Alistair whispered, Let him watch you die. Something broke inside her. No, she whispered. Not again. Not again. She ran toward the beast. Lyora, don't! Kaelin gasped. She didn't stop. She grabbed the wolf's burned fur, desperate, foolish. Get off him! The beast jerked its head toward her, teeth inches from her throat. Her parents' voices echoed. Live, Lyora. Run. Don't look back. Not this time. She screamed, No. Light erupted from her chest. Violent, blinding, explosive. It crashed into the beast, hurling it across the clearing. Silence swallowed the world. Lyora collapsed, hands glowing brilliantly, veins lit like starlight. I don't... What did I just do? She whispered. Kaelin shifted back, gasping, clutching his wound. Lyora, he breathed. Your power awakened. My power? Alistair stared, eyes widening. There it is, he whispered, the cursed spark. Lyora wrapped her arms around herself, shaking. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Alistair smiled. You never do. She looked at Kaelin, voice breaking. Did you know? When you married me? Did you know I was this? He shook his head. No. I only knew I couldn't leave you behind. Alistair raised the scroll again, voice dripping venom. Her family had to die. And now? Now the heir must die too. He lifted his hand. The corrupted beast rose again. The corrupted beast rose again, slow, trembling, but still deadly. Its body flickered with green light, as if something inside it refused to die. Leora staggered back, chest heaving, palms still glowing faintly. The air around her shimmered with leftover power. Kaelin pulled himself upright, shifting halfway, blood dripping from his shoulder. Alistair watched them with cold satisfaction. Look at you, he murmured, the fallen king. And the cursed heir, a perfect tragedy. He lifted his hand. Finish it! The beast lunged. Kaelin roared and shifted fully mid-leap. Muscles bursting, fur erupting, teeth snapping like steel. They collided with a thunderclap. The ground shook. Leora stumbled as Kaelin and the beast rolled across the clearing, biting, clawing, tearing trees from their roots. Stop! She cried. Please stop! But the world had no mercy left. Kaelin fought like a wolf who had lost everything and would not lose the only thing left that mattered. Every strike burned with desperation. Every claw mark, every bite, every lunge screamed the same truth. Not her, not again, not ever. The corrupted wolf fought with twisted purpose. A creature with nothing left but pain and hunger. It raked its claws across Kaelin's ribs. He yelped, voice cracking with agony. Alistair smirked. Hard to watch, isn't it? Leora's hands shook uncontrollably. Kaelin, she screamed. He staggered backward, stunned. The beast slammed him into a tree with enough force to split the trunk. He dropped to one knee. No! Leora choked. The corrupted wolf turned toward her. Saliva dripped black from its jaws. Its corrupted eyes locked onto her. Alistair folded his arms. Don't worry, he murmured. He'll live long enough to watch you die. Leora's breath stuttered. Something inside her. Something old, buried, furious. Rose like a storm. She stepped forward. Not again, she whispered. Her voice shook, but her eyes did not. She planted herself between Kaelin and the beast. The creature lunged. Leora raised her hands. Please, work, she whispered. For him, please. Power snapped awake inside her. Not explosive this time, not wild, but focused, like light forced through a narrow blade. A column of pale starfire shot from her palms, slamming into the beast's chest. It flew backward, shrieking, bones cracking. Leora collapsed to one knee, vision blurring. Behind her, Kaelin stared, stunned, trembling, human again, blood sliding down his arm. Leora, he rasped. What are you? I don't know, she whispered. I don't know what I am. Alistair stepped closer, intrigued. So it's true, he murmured. The Vale bloodline didn't die. It simply went dormant. He tilted his head, and now it wakes. Leora shivered violently. I never wanted this, she whispered. Alistair's smile tightened. Destiny doesn't care what you want. He snapped his fingers. The beast twitched, its body cracking, reforming, rising slowly to its feet. Leora gasped. It's still... Oh yes, Alistair said. Your power hurts it, but it doesn't kill it. That's the flaw in imperfect magic. He pointed at her. That's the flaw in you. Leora's breath trembled. I'm done running. She stood. Her legs shook, but she didn't step back. I'm not hiding, she said. Not anymore. Kalen weakly pushed himself up behind her. Leora, run, he pleaded. Please, he'll kill you. She shook her head. I've run all my life. I ran the night my house burned. I ran while my parents died. I ran while you bled for me. She planted her feet. I'm not running ever again. Alistair exhaled with boredom. How touching. He thrust both hands forward. Dark energy surged toward them, like a living shadow ripping through the air. Kalen grabbed Leora and shoved her behind him. He took the full blast. The force slammed into his chest, lifting him off his feet and throwing him across the clearing. He hit the dirt with a sound that tore Leora's heart apart. Kalen, she screamed, voice breaking. He didn't answer. She crawled toward him, choking on sobs. Please, please get up. He coughed blood. I'm still here, he whispered. Alistair sighed. Not for long. He walked toward them slowly, each step louder than the last. Leora hunched over Kalen, trying to shield him with her own body. Stop, she begged. Kill me if you have to. Just don't hurt him anymore. Alistair paused. Something flickered behind his eyes. Not mercy, but memory. You know, he said quietly. He said the same thing once. Leora froze. What? The night your village burned, Alistair said, voice smooth and cold. He begged. Spare the girl, Hisu said. Take me instead. He looked at Kalen with a cruel smile. I spared them both. Thought letting you live with each other's suffering was lesson enough. Kalen's jaw clenched. Stop talking, he growled. Leora's world tilted. You knew? She whispered to Kalen. He swallowed. I smelled smoke, he said softly. I heard the screams. I got there too late to save anyone, except you. Memories flashed. Ash under her feet, a hand lifting her, voice whispering, don't look back. You carried me, she whispered. Yes, you saved me. His expression broke. I just didn't want you to die alone. Leora covered her mouth. You've been protecting me. Since that night. Alistair rolled his eyes. Well, this is lovely, but we're done. He raised both hands for the final strike. Leora saw it, the death in his eyes, and something inside her snapped into clarity. Not fear, not panic, but choice. She stood. Her palms glowed fiercely, starlight pulsing through her veins. If my power is meant to drown the North in starfire, she whispered, then let it start with you. Alistair unleashed darkness. Leora unleashed light. The forces collided in mid-air. Light grinding against shadow, sparks ripping through the night. The ground shook. Trees bent. The corrupted beast howled. Leora screamed as the darkness pushed her back. Overwhelming. crushing. Then a hand closed around her wrist. Warm, familiar. Kaelin. He forced himself up beside her. Half shifted, barely conscious, blood dripping from his jaw. "I've got you," he whispered, their powers intertwined. Alpha fire with cursed starlight, and the blast of light erupted like a newborn sun. Alistair's eyes widened. "No, no!" The wave struck him like lightning and hit the corrupted wolf behind him. The beast dissolved into dark mist. Alistair crashed to the ground, armor cracking. For the first time, he looked afraid. He pushed himself up, trembling. "This wasn't how it was supposed to go," he snarled. Kaelin stepped toward him, shifting fully now. Claws dragging sparks across the dirt. "You burned my kingdom," Kaelin said quietly. "You hunted her bloodline. You poisoned the North." He raised his hand. "And you answered to me." He seized Alistair by the chest. Leora watched, breath caught in her throat. "Does he die?" Kaelin asked C softly. "Or live to face what he's done?" Her heart pounded. She could end this. End the monster who ended her family. End the fear that shaped her life. But her parents' voices whispered, "We are not what they say we are." She wiped her tears. "Let him live," she said, "but not as a king." Kaelin nodded. He slammed his palm into Alistair's chest and stripped every drop of alpha power from him. Alistair collapsed, gasping, suddenly small. "You are nothing now," Kaelin said, "and you will answer to the people you ruled through fear." He turned away. Leora rushed to him, catching him as he collapsed into her arms. "You idiot!" she sobbed. "You were willing to die for me." He laughed weakly. "I married you, Leora. Death was always part of the bargain." She pressed her forehead to his. "I don't want a bargain," she whispered. "I want a life." He cupped her cheek. "You won't face this alone," he said. "Not as long as I breathe." The night shifted. A horn echoed in the distance. Not a hunter's horn, a warning. Soldiers emerged from the trees. Some wearing Alistair's crest, others with no loyalty left. They froze at the sight. Fallen hunters, a broken beast, a dethroned alpha on his knees, and the true king standing over him. Kaelin squeezed Leora's hand. "This is where it begins," he murmured. "Where what begins?" she whispered. "The truth," he said, "and the war that follows it." The clearing shifted as soldiers stepped from the trees. Hesitant, conflicted, unsure who to kneel to. Kaelin stood tall despite the blood on his hands, his wounds, and the exhaustion in his bones. Leora stayed beside him, steadying him when he swayed. One soldier looked between the brothers, at Alistair trembling on the ground, powerless, and at Kaelin, golden eyes still burning with the remnants of the Alpha King. "My king?" the soldier whispered, voice cracking. Kaelin tightened his grip around Leora's hand. He took a breath, a king's breath, a survivor's breath. Then he stepped forward. "I am Kaelin Thorne," he said, voice rolling across the clearing. "The Alpha King you were told died in the fire your current ruler lit." Shock rippled through the crowd. "And this?" He drew Leora forward gently. "Is Leora Vale, the heir your prophecies feared, the woman I chose as my queen." Gasps, whispers. A few men even fell to one knee. Alistair, kneeling in the dirt, snarled, "You'll drown them all, you'll destroy everything. The prophecy—" Caelan turned his head slightly, eyes old but calm. Maybe the prophecy wasn't a warning, he said softly. Maybe it was a promise. He looked out over the soldiers, over the forest, over the kingdom that had forgotten him. A promise that the North would burn down what was corrupt and rise again. Leora's breath caught. For a moment, the world seemed to hold still. The moon broke free from behind a cloud, pouring silver across the clearing. The light caught in Leora's hair, turning it into threads of starlight. Caelan looked at her, really looked at her. And for the first time since the night his kingdom burned, hope flickered behind his eyes. "Whatever comes next," he murmured to her, "we face it together. Do you understand?" She smiled, soft, trembling, but real. "Yes," she whispered. "Your Majesty." His exhale broke into a small, disbelieving laugh. Behind them, the soldiers shifted uncertainly. They had come for orders, to follow a king. But which one? The old king stripped of power? Or the forgotten king standing bloodied but unbroken? Caelan straightened. His voice carried like a blade through the clearing. "Stand down," he commanded. "Your king is not the man who hides behind lies." He gestured toward Alistair. "Your king is the man who stands." The soldiers wavered, until one dropped to his knee, then another, and another, until the entire line bowed their heads. Leora's heart pounded so hard she thought it might crack. Caelan squeezed her hand, grounding her. "We're not safe yet," he whispered, "but we're not running anymore." She nodded. The forest wind shifted, as if the land itself acknowledged the return of a king. Far in the distance, another horn sounded. Not a warning, a signal. More soldiers would come. More enemies, more allies, more consequences. The North had awakened, and it would not sleep again. Caelan turned his face toward the night sky, toward the kingdom waiting beyond the tree line. "We walk forward from here," he said quietly. Leora stepped beside him. Together they crossed the threshold of the clearing. Blood behind them, destiny ahead. Whatever war awaited them, they would face it as one.